It also threw in a cheaper version of its Model 3 as well. The new standard Model 3 will be $5,500 cheaper than its premium counterpart, starting at just over $38,600.
$12,749. That's the Tesla that Elon Musk supposedly just leaked, launching in August. The car that finally destroys Toyota. It's all over your feed right now, and nearly every word of it is invented. So let's do the thing the people sharing that headline didn't do. Let's actually check it. Because there is a real story here about the cheapest car Tesla can build, about a price war quietly turning brutal, and about a company that just walked away from the very car everyone is screaming about. By the end of this, you'll understand what's actually happening better than the algorithm that fed you that number. And stick around, because the real reason a $12,000 Tesla can't exist is more interesting than the fantasy that it does. Start with that number, because it's strangely specific. Not around 13 grand. 12,749. Specific numbers feel like leaks. They feel like someone saw a spreadsheet. So where did it come from? Not from Tesla. Not from an earnings call. Not a filing. Not a shareholder deck. Not a single executive. It was reverse engineered by content farms. And here's the trick they used, because once you see it, you'll never unsee it. They start with real engineering targets, things Tesla has genuinely talked about. A manufacturing method that could cut assembly costs by half, a casting process that shrinks the factory, cheaper battery chemistry, all real, all legitimate, all long-term. Then they do something sneaky. They take every one of those best-case savings, assume all of them land perfectly at the same time, today, and stack them on top of each other. They compound the dream. Run that math and you can calculate a car that costs $9,000 to $11,000 to build. Add a little profit, and out pops a clean, specific, totally fake number, 12,749. Here's how you know it's impossible. Right now, the raw cost for Tesla to physically build one of its cars, just the parts and labor, the number before profit, before shipping, before a dealership, sits a little above $36,000. So to sell you a car for $12,700, Tesla would have to eat a loss of more than $23,000 on every single one, not make less money. Lose 23 grand per car every time someone buys one. Sell a few $100,000 of those and you've vaporized billions in cash in a matter of weeks. No company on earth does that on purpose. And let's anchor what $12,000 even buys today. It's less than a fancy golf cart. The average new car in America right now costs around $49,000. Even a 3-year-old used car averages over $31,000. So a brand new, crash-tested, highway-legal electric car at $12,700 would have to undercut a used Honda Civic by $19,000. Expecting that is like expecting the newest flagship phone to sell for $50. It's not a leak, it's a wish with a decimal point. Now here's where it gets interesting, because there is a real cheap Tesla story. It's just quieter and smarter than the fantasy. Tesla figured out that designing a whole new budget car from scratch costs billions and takes years. So instead, they did something far more clever. They took the cars they already build and started stripping them down. The cheapest new Tesla on Earth right now isn't a Model 2, it's a stripped Model 3, built in Shanghai, sold in South Korea. And to hit its price, Tesla quietly removed things. The range dropped from about 360 miles to 240. The power seats became manual, the rear screen, gone. Ventilated seats, gone. 9 speakers cut to 7. Premium seats swapped for plain cloth. After local subsidies, it lands around $25,000. Think of it like a phone maker dropping a cheaper camera and a basic screen into last year's body to sell a budget model, instead of inventing a whole new phone. In the US, the cheapest Tesla is still a Model 3 at around $38,000, with a Model Y standard brought back at $39,900. Real, affordable-ish, nowhere near 12 grand. But the biggest twist is what happened to the Model 2 itself. Because it was real once. Back in 2020, Tesla promised a $25,000 car for the masses. The internet named it the Model 2. And then, sometime in the last year, Tesla quietly killed it. Not the price target, the car. They took the money and the engineers meant for a cheap people's car and poured them into something else entirely, the CyberCab. And the CyberCab is a strange beast. Yes, it's aimed at that same $25,000 cost, but it has no steering wheel. No pedals, no way for a human to drive it at all. It is built from the ground up to be a robotaxi, a car you summon, ride in, and walk away from, never own. It's engineered for one thing, driving itself so cheaply, under 20 cents a mile, that a fleet of them could undercut the cost of owning a car at all. Production crept into its earliest phase in April, and even Musk called it agonizingly slow. A real fleet isn't expected until 2027 at the soonest, and that's if regulators even allow a car with no steering wheel on public roads. The agency that decides what's road legal in America has never signed off on a mass-market car with no manual controls. That isn't a small hurdle. It's a wall nobody has climbed yet. So when someone tells you Tesla is about to sell you a cheap car to drive to work, understand, the cheap car they were building isn't a car you drive. It's a car that drives you, and you don't get to keep it. Which brings us to the loudest claim of all: destroys Toyota forever. This one isn't just wrong, it misunderstands the entire industry. Last year, Toyota sold 11.3 million vehicles. Tesla sold about 1.6 million, and that number actually shrank year over year. To put that in perspective, Toyota is flying 7 full jumbo jets for every one jet Tesla puts in the air. Toyota isn't being destroyed. Toyota is the largest car maker on the planet for the 6th year running, and it got there by doing the exact thing the headlines mock: hybrids. While everyone fought over pure electric, Toyota quietly sold millions of gas-electric cars that people actually wanted, and made a fortune doing it. Half of every Toyota sold in America last year was electrified in some form, and one model alone, the RAV4, outsells almost everything on the road that isn't a full-size pickup truck. And Toyota isn't standing still. They've got next-generation batteries planned that target nearly 500 miles of range. And beyond that, solid-state batteries, the genuine holy grail, promising a 1,000-kilometer range and a 10-minute charge, with their government's backing and production starting to ramp in the next couple of years. A company doing that is not a company about to die. It's a company patiently using today's hybrid profits to fund tomorrow's leap. So what about that August launch date everyone keeps repeating? Another case of crossed wires. There is no consumer car launching in August. What's actually happening around then is the planned production ramp of Tesla's Optimus robot and, almost comically, the start date for Tesla's engineering internships. The algorithm saw August 2026 attached to Tesla and welded it onto a car that doesn't exist. Now here's the honest part, the part that actually matters. Tesla does have real ways to make cars cheaper. They're just hard, and they're not working as fast as the hype claims. Their big bet, called Unboxed Assembly, reimagines building a car. Instead of one frame crawling down a line while workers reach into tight spaces, you build the front, the back, the floor, and the interior as separate finished blocks, then snap them together at the end. On paper, it cuts assembly cost in half and shrinks the factory by nearly half again. The big pieces come from gigacasting, where a 50,000-ton press stamps out an entire section of the car's underbody in a single shot, the way you'd pour a building's whole foundation in one slab of concrete instead of laying 1,000 bricks by hand. In reality, as of right now, it's still being debugged on the low-volume CyberCab. It has not transformed the millions of regular Teslas being built today. The other big bet was the battery, the in-house 4680 cell, made with a new dry process meant to slash cost. That one's been rough. Independent testing found the in-house cells actually hold less energy than the older cells Tesla buys from suppliers and charge worse. To put a number on it, the in-house cells came in around 244 watt-hours per kilogram against 269 for the older ones, and denser is better, and they faded fast under hard charging. One supplier wrote down a multi-billion-dollar Tesla battery contract by almost 100% as demand collapsed. The savings are real in theory, and still mostly locked in practice. And in America, the old $7,500 EV discount at the register? Gone. Ended last year, replaced by a slow tax deduction on loan interest. So the upfront price of a Tesla actually went up for a lot of buyers, not down. So why does any of this matter if the cheap miracle car is fake? Because the real fight is far bigger, and you're watching it happen. The reason Tesla even needs a cheaper car isn't to kill Toyota, it's to survive China. A company called BYD just passed Tesla as the world's top seller of pure electric cars, more than 2 million of them. And it does something Tesla can't match. It mines its own raw materials, builds its own batteries, even owns its own cargo ships. Top to bottom, it controls everything, so it can build cheap and still profit. That is the wave crashing into every Western car maker right now, and the price cuts you're seeing are them bracing for it. That's the real story under the fake one. Tesla's whole robotaxi gamble, the no-steering wheel CyberCab, is an attempt to dodge that brutal price war entirely. to stop racing to the bottom on cheap commuter cars and instead sell software and rides nobody else can. If self-driving truly works, Tesla stops being a company that sells you one car once and becomes a company that earns money on every mile that car ever drives. That's the real prize, not a cheap hatchback, a toll booth on every trip. It might work, it might not, but it's a real high-stakes bet, and it's 1,000 times more interesting than a leaked number that never existed. So here's what you're actually looking at. Not a $12,000 miracle, not the death of Toyota. You're looking at a global industry grinding through the hardest transition in its history, where the winners won't be decided by a leaked price tag, but by who can build a good car cheaply enough to survive. The miracle car is a myth. The war is very real. So tell me where you land. After all that, do you think Tesla's cheapest car is still coming, or is the affordable Tesla gone for good, replaced by a robotaxi you'll never own? One word in the comments: coming or gone. I read them. If this turned a fake headline into something you actually understand, that's exactly what the like button is for. Subscribe and hit the bell, because next we're going inside the battery that was supposed to make all of this cheap, the 4680, and the messy truth about whether Tesla can really build its own. You won't look at an EV price tag the same way again.